Welcome back to the W number, folks. Tonight we got a crazy episode for you. Got my man Stevie back with his stories of double A, and I'm sure that we're gonna get into a bunch of things that we haven't talked about yet. There's plenty to talk about. Stevie, we're gonna start off with just because last time we had mentioned the fact that you did 13 years, but we never got into where you did your time. So we're gonna start off with that first, just so people know, where you did your time and how much time you did and shit.
Fair question. I mean, like I said, I've done 13 years total and all together, not all at once. I think the longest I've ever done was 2.5 years straight. Other than that, it's been broken up in little bits, just here and there over the years. Like I said, I struggled with addiction since I was very young. I was 14 years old, and that's where my problems started. Because my family wasn't addicts and they didn't understand the addiction side of things, and my dad just always believed I could quit if I had the willpower and strength to do it. It kind of pushed us away, and just, I drifted off and had to like kind of go on my own on the streets. And that's what I did. So I basically learned how to be an adult by listening to my friends that were pretty much same age as me, maybe a couple of years older, dealing with the same life problems as me. And it just wasn't a good scenario. So that caused me to keep, relapsing and just not giving myself a chance. And I would shoplift, plenty of drug charges, possession, intent with distribute over the years. I mean, it just added up. So a lot of my time was done in Bristol County. I was there for, I would say, 9 out of the 13 years. That's where I grew up, is Fall River. So my county is Bristol County. I did a lot of time in Dartmouth, did a lot of time in Ash Street. Over the years, after I finally made it out of Dartmouth, I went to Worcester for 30 days, and then I went to South Bay for a year and a half. I did 17 months at Nashua Street, and I just wrapped up my first state bid when I went to Shirley Medium. So that's pretty much where I went throughout the 13 years. Like I said, most of it was at Bristol County, and that's where all this comes from.
What did you do for state time?
I did 2.5 years state time. I did 2.5 years. I got charged with, the gun. I got charged with the distribution of fentanyl, cocaine, all the Adderall pills, pressed pills, everything. There was a ghost gun involved, and I ended up getting 2.5 years upstate because it was my first charge being indicted. And I got 5 years probation, which I'm actually almost off of now. Having 4 years sober really helped, and they're willing to cut my probation down a little bit. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Congratulations on that. 5 years is not easy to make it through, for sure.
Thank you.
So let me ask you some questions. We'll get into double A and shit. You said that you had an addiction, and when you went in there, you had a history of addiction and shit like that. Did you ever speak about that with him?
Oh yeah. So at first I didn't know how to approach it. I mean, he's an NFL star. I didn't know, I didn't want him thinking I'm just some junkie or something, just some fan trying to get a hold of him and try to get what I can to make some money and sell it to TMZ, whatever he tells me and stuff like that. That wasn't the deal. That wasn't the case whatsoever. With him, I was just trying to be more real with him. I was trying to tell him, like, look, this is my situation. Don't believe everything you're hearing from everybody else in the whole, because they're not who they say they are. And that's why he listened to me a lot. That's why he guided me. He helped me a lot. I learned a lot from him. He learned a lot from me. And, we just had a blast while we were together. It was fun. But at the same time, it was a lesson.
He at one point said in one of his jail phone calls that he was living life minute by minute. Like he was taking his life literally minute by minute behind the wall while he was fighting trial. I think it was probably stressful for him. Like, obviously it was stressful. He's facing a murder charge. Like, did he ever reveal to you like exactly how he was feeling about that?
Absolutely. You could see it in his face all day. There was days where that kid's smile would just light up the whole unit. You know what I mean? Like, even though he actually told me his 4 front teeth are fake. One of the Pouncey twins that play in the NFL knocked him out. That was like one of his best friends, Mike Pouncey, all the Pouncey twins. And they got into a beef, and his front teeth are knocked out. But man, that kid's smile would light up the whole room, And there was days where he, it's like when you're in jail, they call it the heliphone when you make the phone calls from in there, because there's just times where you don't want to hear certain things that's happening in the real world while you're locked behind a wall. So I would see it in his face. He would slam the phone. He would turn right around after he hung up the phone and slammed it, turn right around to my cell, and I'd be right there like, yeah, man, I get it. And we talk about it, And then, there was the days where he's like, man, I just got to get out of my head. What do you got? What do you got? And, I'm in the hole. I got Wellbutrin. I got the stuff from the MedCot. I got, little bits of stuff here and there, like the Sobo, like everybody was doing. And that's what led to me and him going to church. That's what we called it, And, I didn't see that side of him at first, but he's like, yeah, the NFL only drug tests you once in a while. We get away with everything. And apparently he was doing the PCP. He was into that stuff and the Molly and all that on the street. I didn't know that until I talked to him, face to face. And that side finally came out, the addiction side. And it sucks because no matter who you are, it doesn't matter if you're an NFL star or not. Addiction is addiction is addiction is addiction. It does not discriminate. You know what I mean? And for somebody like that, his mentality was, I'll never be like you. I'll never be an addict, because he thought he was up here, which, okay, you got that, big head going on because of what you've done with your life. I get it. But at the same day, he didn't understand the addiction side. He didn't understand what he was getting into. I mean, look at the amount he would do. Like when I told you, when his lawyer was doing the thing, bringing in the pack every Thursday, he was bringing in Suboxone strips. When you're sober, you need a little piece. You don't need to do the whole thing. The kid did the whole thing and started puking. He had to sign refusals to not go to the hospital because they would have drug tested him and TMZ would have found out. So he didn't want that before his trial.
How many Suboxones do you think he was getting at one time?
Yeah, it was only like 10 of those. We had a little bit of the THC pills coming in and stuff like that. I mean, here and there was a little bit extra, but I mean, it was religiously every Thursday. So, I mean, it wasn't like we were going to run out,
Yeah, I mean, he could break it out at any time. You won't know where it's coming from at any given time, because he could break it out on Thursday when somebody else comes and throw off everything. Like, you don't know where it's going to come from. There's no cameras inside those attorney visiting rooms. He had 5 attorneys coming to see him at that time. There was a legal team coming to see him, and I looked into that. So on his visitors list, there's attorney, 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 attorney. And it's like basically one after the other after the other. So there's so many different attorneys and people coming to see him. And he's got people from management coming to see him. And those are all business and professional visits. Those are non-recorded, I don't think. So I think, and even if not, only the attorney visits are non-recorded. And even if that's the case, it's non-recorded, bro. It's not, there's no cameras, there's no proof. There's no way to go back and say, oh, this person did a sale with him, or this person got drugs from him, or anything like that. Like, I just don't think that. And I was, when you were saying that on the podcast and I was editing it and we were going to put it out, I put it out because there was no specific information enough to make any decision or get anybody in trouble. And as far as that goes, that would be the last I would like to talk about it because of that situation. I don't want my podcast to be anybody to get in trouble, right? But that's a huge part of the story. I mean, that's like gas blown off. You know what I mean? That shit's crazy. But at the same time, it's just part of prison life. I mean, attorneys are bringing shit in. I mean, that's no fucking state secret. You know what I mean? Shit happens. He's a fucking NFL star. He had access to tons of money. I mean, he could get people to do things that other people probably couldn't. And I apologize, for anybody who actually took that way and thought, oh man, but that's not the case, bro.
No,
not even close. So you said you had personal stories about Double A that we had never got into, like time you cut his hair and shit like that. Let's hear about that, because that kind of reflects who he really was.
Man, it shows who he really is, man. He wasn't this monster that everybody's seen, man. He called his daughter every single day, and if the phone calls he had with his daughter, like, it would have melted your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy was not a monster. He got caught up in some bad things, just like we all do. Like here and there, not everybody, but majority of people that go to jail and prisons are not bad people. They got caught up in a bad circumstance, or they're dealing with issues that they don't know how to address at the time. And it's hard. But yeah, I seen that side of him a lot. And it was great. Like once me and him started to get to know each other, we would goof around all day. Like I said, to kill time in the hole, we're playing Jeopardy. We're playing Battleship. We're playing Chess Through the Vents, just trying to kill some time. you know, and he likes these Sudoku puzzles, man. Yo, this was the best part, man. He thought he was so good at them, and I didn't really know how to do them that well. So he had this book of them, and I would copy the same one as him. So me and him would race. Whoever got done first wins. The loser, you got to do push-ups on demand. And I don't know if you know what that is, but no matter where you are, I don't care if you're in the shower, I don't care if you're at the Medline, the chow hall. If you owe me a push-up on demand, that's it. I need it.
Yep.
You know,
You be at the visit. You get a real dickhead. You don't want to owe push-ups to a real dickhead, bro, because you'll be talking on the phone in the shower, like you said, bro. It's like in the shower, bro. Come on. But that's your word, bro. That's like a gambling debt. You pay that shit, bro. That's because it's your word. It's the right thing to do.
That's right. So the funniest part, man, right? I beat him. He owes me 10 push-ups on demand, right? And now I'm right next door from him after we left ED and he got in trouble with eating the wrap and everything. He went to the real hole on suicide watch and I popped my sprinkler and I went over there with him again. That's when I ended up right on the side of him. So I could see out the side of my door because it's sliding doors. I could see his big ass hand sticking out the little food slot for his meds. So one day the nurse comes in and he's banging on my wall. He goes, Slappy, get to the vent. I'm like, what, dude? What's happening? What's the rush? He's like, that's the nurse. That's the best looking nurse in here. So I look out the window, man, and I'm dying. I know this nurse. I went to school with this nurse. My cellmate, Reggie, the one I was in the hole with originally, that's his cousin. I'm like, yes, this is going to be great. So now I start looking out the side of my door and I'm waiting for his big ass hand to come get his sleeping med every night. You know, that he needs his sleeping pill or he can't sleep apparently. So I'm waiting. And as soon as his big ass hand came out, I said, yo, hey. He said, what, man? I said, give me one. He's like, come on, man. Are you serious? Dude, he had to get down all embarrassed. He does his push-up. Every time his hand came out, I kept saying, give me another one. Give me another one. Give me another one. So now the nurse is laughing, but she's like, all right, this is never going to end. He's getting embarrassed. She's ready to just take off and just leave because she's thinking this is just a joke that's not going to stop. So I eventually get to the number 10 where he doesn't owe me anymore. But like I said, the nurse thinks it's never going to stop. So she proceeds to walk away and he's banging, screaming, please come back. Please come back. I don't owe him anymore. And she just flipped him off and that was it. And after she left, man, he banging on my wall. He's like, I'm keeping you up all night, motherfucker, all night. Yeah. So he starts kicking on my wall all night. So I couldn't sleep, man. It was terrible. You know?
Yo, that's fucked up, bro. That's like Cell Warrior shit in the hole. That's fucked up.
He wouldn't.
Yo, Aaron straight fucking he bombed you like they do in DDU.
right. You know, another time,
that's
like I said,
county shit.
Yeah, right. I lived that whole life, my whole life, and that sums up my whole life. That's what we say out there. You know,
I like that one.
Yeah, when you're buried in the hole and you know you're stuck there until you go home, there's really not much more they can do. So, you know, it's give me extra food, give me what I want. What is it?
What kind of meds did Double A take?
He was just on a sleeping pill. I believe it was the trazodone stuff they give you there. They don't want to give you nothing good, so he was probably on that, you know. But he needed it religiously every night, and he wouldn't sleep without it. So he was pretty pissed off about that one, you know.
And then, hey, just real quick, I just like to say salute to everybody in the chat, man. How is everybody doing tonight? If you guys got questions for Stevie up here, you can leave them in the chat. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And I got a fire-ass members-only video dropping with me and my boy from Code of Silence TV. This is my boy Kevin right here. He'll be dropping in to ask some questions to my friend here, Stevie, in a couple of, you know, whenever he gets them. But, you know, he's trying to promote some cool shit, bro. He's doing some cool shit. We'll get to that at the end, but we'll be back to the show right now. Stevie, so getting back into what we were, you know, talking about before we just took that little break. We were talking about your stories with Double A in the hole, and, you know, I'd asked you about the meds and shit. So have you ever seen Double A get into a fight in the county?
Oh, yeah. Booker.
Let's talk about that.
Booker. It was a GD kid named Booker. We were trying to play Jeopardy out the, you know, like I said, we play Jeopardy to kill time when it's locked down out the door and stuff like that. And there was just this one kid, of course, who always yells out the answer, trying to be cool, trying to be funny because he wasn't invited to play with us, you know, and he's just ruining the whole game. So him and Aaron start beefing. They start going at it, you know, and they said they had words. One time, Aaron's out of his cell and he's not cuffed up. He's not supposed to be in the hole. Like, he gets to walk around. But everybody else has to be shackled and handcuffed everywhere you go. So fortunately, the kid came out and Aaron got him in the little trap where you walk out to go to the rec yard, and this kid's cuffed up and shackled. Aaron's not, but he's like, you want to call somebody a bitch now while the door's not in front of you? And that was it. They start scrapping. They start going at it. I mean, obviously, Aaron got the best of him. The kid's cuffed up, but at the same time, the kid was asking for it at the end of the day. He just wouldn't let it go. He just, he was just being a prick in the hole. That's what happens when you're down there so long. When you're hiding out down there and you can't live on a unit, you're just a cell worry.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Stunsters.
Right.
Stunsters. That's what we call them, stunsters.
Right.
Guys that just go down there and they just make everybody's life a living fucking hell because they can't go to population. They'll get smashed out.
Right.
Yep. I hate them, bro. They make life hell.
Yeah. There was one guy, Frankie Chano, down there. I'll never forget it. It was summertime, and Aaron was so mad at this dude. This is the guy who the CO gave the food to that was supposed to go to Aaron, which started that whole him threatening the CO thing. This guy would throw human feces into the fan in the unit during the summertime. That way we couldn't turn it on, and we're all sweating. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. But this guy knew he was never leaving the hole, and that's what he did. He would just throw shit on people every chance he got, and it was terrible.
Right.
It was, oh man, excuse me. It was terrible. But him and Aaron hated each other.
Yo, that's funny, right? Because I was just thinking, first of all, I forgot all about all the proof, all the letters and shit that we're about to go over and shit like that. So everybody watching, we're going to go over some letters that were written, letters from Aaron, envelopes and proof, the stuff that we do have right now. But we have so much more proof, right? So he's got a whole, I'll let him explain it. So Stevie, just tell us what you got there.
I mean, like I said, I got a bunch of letters from him over the years. Unfortunately, they got lost during my addiction. Some of them are in storage still I have to get to. Some of them are at my mother's house in a box with 2,000 letters in it that she keeps just in case something was to ever happen to me. She has those letters still. I went through a bunch yesterday. I found a few. I did find the envelope from one of his letters. His name is literally right here. Let me find the camera. Right there.
Yeah, I mean, we can put that on my community post. That's,
right.
What I kind of wanted to get to, because I know, like, just listening to you, I believe you, and I know you're telling the truth, right? So explain what's going on with the box of stuff that you have that you gave to your friend.
Right. So I have, like I said in the beginning on the first episode, he drew my daughter a birthday card, a birthday Patriots calendar that he signed every month of, and he sent her a Toys R Us card that she never got, a $200 Toys R Us card. Me and her mother just wasn't talking. Like I said, I haven't spoken to her since she was 5. And that was it. So I had all that stuff saved. I had a Sports Illustrated magazine with his name printed right on it, his ID number printed right on it. It's not a sticker. It's printed on the cover, autographed. I had that. There was multiple letters. If I read this to you, it would explain how we came up with this whole plan to basically, he wanted good media out there. Like I said, he wanted me on Dr. Phil for him. He wanted me on all the news outlets. It explains all this in this letter. And it was cool because like he surprised me with it, and when I told him about my daughter and my situation, it broke his heart. So he was doing his best to look out for me. So yeah, I have all of that stuff. And there's also a letter that he basically told me if I promised him to go to a drug rehab, if I promised him to take care of my daughter, if I promised him to use the money he was going to send my mom because she was a little short on my bail for the right reason, he would do all this for me. So he's like, come by send a fishing line to my cell in about 10 minutes. I got something for you. He's like, you're one lucky kid. And I didn't know what to expect. So I'm just waiting, and like I said, I've never asked him for anything. So I don't know what to expect from him. So I send a fishing line. He sends me a kite. I open it up and it starts saying questions that he wants me to ask him in my own handwriting so he can respond. So it looks like there's a kite going back and forth to each other, and then I can promote it on the media for him. So before his trial, he doesn't seem like such a monster, and it was like the questions were basically saying, Aaron, what do you do in your spare time here? Like in the whole, like, do you regret anything? Is there anything you want to tell your fans? Stuff like that. And he's got me asking those questions, and then he responds to them. And that is also in the storage locker. So I'm praying we can get down there sometime soon this week, get everything to you, and then you could post it all online, because I even have canteen slips proving the cell I was in, the date and time, and you can timestamp it according to his cell time there. It's literally cell right on the side of him. and it's all right there in black and white. I also reached out to TMZ again today to see if maybe they had some of the pictures of the stuff when I was trying to sell it to them when I first originally got out. I'm waiting to hear back from them. So that could also be another option to get the stuff. But as soon as I get it, you guys will have it. I can't wait to show you. I mean, it's amazing, and I wish I had kept it with me. But like I said, I was still running the streets and it was difficult. I didn't want to lose the stuff and ruin it. So I kept it away in storage. I had a trusted friend hold it. And now I just got to go get it.
So why did you have it in storage is a good question. And that's one that I want you to answer because that explains a lot.
Well, again, like my addiction was taking a hold of me. I didn't have a place to go. Every time I came out of jail, I had no support. So it's my friend hands me a pack. I start selling. I live in a hotel room with a bunch of untrustworthy people around me all day. And I just didn't want the stuff going missing or getting ruined. That stuff from my daughter. I told you I haven't talked to my daughter since she was 5 years old over the jail phone. And she's telling me she wants to be a doctor and wants the birthday calendar. That's the last phone call I had with that girl. So for me, next year when she's 18 and her mother's already saying she's going to try to reach out to me, that's going right to my daughter. Like I'm telling her, like, this is the story. This is what happened. I never forgot about you. I've been trying my whole entire life to get myself situated so I can come back into your life and be there for you. Unfortunately, her mother just didn't see that side of things. And she was saying, if I stay sober for a year, I could see my daughter. I stayed sober for 10 months straight. Then she tells me, it doesn't matter how long you clean, you're still not seeing her. So that sent me off a warpath and back on the streets, and it was a vicious cycle. And I just didn't want the stuff getting lost or ruined. So I had somebody hold on to it. And now it's just a matter of going to get it out of the storage locker, pretty much.
So check this out, right? That to me, absolute facts, bro. Like I can look at you and tell you're telling the truth, bro. I have fucking been around people, deceptive motherfuckers, manipulating people that I could not trust for shit. And I could pick out their lies, right? I could pick out any deceptions around me. And I had to. That was the way I survived, bro, right? And I could look at you, man, and I could just tell you're telling the truth, man. And I don't understand how other people can't do that. Maybe they don't see what I see. Maybe they don't have that same perception or reality for themselves. But check this out, right? Let's read that letter, the one that you have right now, and we'll get back to some other shit right after. But let's go over this real quick because I want to discuss this plan and plot and see how you guys got it.
So yeah, this letter came to my mother's address on September 20th, 2013 from the Bristol County House of Corrections. And it says, "Dear Mom, you better trust me on this one. Mom, I went back to the hole after I talked to you today, and I was depressed and stressing the fact that I might not get out. I have to be here for 2.5 years. And Aaron asked how the call went. I told him your situation on how you got laid off and that you guys keep trying to show me tough love. And since I got myself into this mess, you want me to get myself out of it. He said, give me 10 minutes and then grab something from his cell. I did that. And he came up with a plan and he wrote a note and told me I'm one lucky kid. He's going to help me, but I need to promise to go through with this program for my daughter to get her back and get myself sober again. He told me what to write, and then he wrote back to me and he said, do not let the letter fall into the wrong hands and do this immediately. He said, contact Boston Globe, Fox News, Dr. Phil, NBC News, and TMZ. Tell them you have a handwritten letter signed and everything from Aaron explaining his situation from inside the Bristol County House of Corrections. He said, sell it to whoever has the best offer. He said the last 3 people he wrote to sold the letters for $18,000 to TMZ. He said, you can even look it up online. It's 100% guaranteed to work. He said, don't sell it for any less than $10,000, but shoot for $15,000 to $18,000. Like the other 3 people got, Mom, please take this seriously. This is not a joke or a scam. Please do this right away and get me out. I love you. I will give you all the money. I will give you money out of it. Just please get it done. And also tell them about the magazine and the 2 autographs that I sent you and the piece of the D report he got, and that I've been down here in the hole with him for 3 months now at this time, and I'm one of 3 people he talks to in here. Tell them I will do a full interview, ask how much they will give and how much for all the other stuff I have with this letter. He said it will bring me no less than $10,000. So please call tonight. He said it was 100% guaranteed to work. Then he will bail me out and make sure he is, hold on, bail me out. So he is no call. I don't know what.
Yeah,
I can't even read my handwriting. Them places right now, do not give it to them until they get out. Until I get out. Basically saying don't give the stuff out until I get out.
Right.
You know?
I mean,
right.
Yeah.
And then it goes, and they will pay you. They will pay you once I'm out and I hand it to them. Do not give that to them first. Please, this is bigger than big. Now call and do this right now tonight. And then I said I ran out of stamps for this other letter to Dad to send the magazine. I was trying to send the magazine home first because I knew there was a chance SIU was going to take it from me before I left. So they knew I was coming home soon and I was going to be able to bail out. So what I did was I sent a pack of legal mail home to my dad's address separately before I bailed out. So that's why they didn't get everything from me when SIU grabbed my mail and, you know, all the stuff with Dr. Phil and his whole life story and his lawyer's number, his girl's number, all that stuff I was supposed to do with his bracelet, like to sell this bracelet to TMZ and give him half the money. All of that stuff got taken, but not the autograph, not the stuff of my daughters, not the magazine, not the calendar, none of that. I sent that home separately, thank God.
And explain real quick why they would take something like that.
They just knew how much publicity would be out there from TMZ after this. You know what I mean? Sheriff Hodginson's one of the biggest crooks in the world. And I'm telling you this right now, this guy is a literal genius in the streets. He was charging the inmates at Bristol County $5 a day. We got the money back after a while with a lawsuit, but $5 every single day you're getting charged. It doesn't matter. It doesn't stop. If you don't get money for like, you only get money once a month or something, you're never going to see it because you're going to owe every day $5. That adds up more and more and more. You know what I mean? So if you only get money once in a while, you're never going to see it. And that's not fair to your family, you know? So we eventually fought and got that money back. But this guy on all the documentaries was making it sound like Aaron thought of him like a father figure. And I don't know if you've seen the documentaries. He would say, oh, me and Aaron had long conversations about the Bible and about his father and stuff like life stuff, you know?
I did see that.
Dude, I would every single day after Aaron would come back from one of those meetings with the sheriff, he would be laughing his balls off to me, telling him how much of a clown this guy thinks he is. And, you know, it was crazy. You know,
no bullshit.
The sheriff made it seem like it was his best friend.
No bullshit. When he got to the max, he said the same shit to me. He said that the dude Hodgson was always sweating his balls, trying to, you know, he was basically coming to his door, fucking gobbling his jizz, dude. Like, yeah, he was on his balls bad, bro.
Yes.
Fact.
And that's why the COs hated him, you know, like he was high maintenance to them because they had to do their job the right way when he was around because all eyes are on them, you know?
Right. And, and how was information leaking out? Was it other COs? Were other COs selling the information? Like, how was that getting out?
There was COs selling information because TMZ found out about Aaron getting chicken wings delivered and stuff. Aaron was trying to order pizza for the whole entire jail just because he wanted a couple pieces of pizza. And we tried getting that to happen and the CO felt bad. And I guess at nighttime he ordered him Chinese food and stuff like that. But he ended up reporting that to TMZ. So they found out about that. They found out about stuff when they bailed the guy Booker out of jail that he fought. Yeah, obviously he told his side of the things. Like I said, Corey Hayden also was the first inmate to try to steal his actual ID card and mail it home when he first got arrested. All these people are talking to TMZ. You know what I mean? Then you also got the other people who are just ear hustling in the hole and they're making it seem like they're his friend and they're with him. But it wasn't like that. Like I said, when I was with him, when he first touched down, he didn't talk to anybody because I warned him. I'm like, everybody in the hole's not who you think they are. They hide out here because they're scared for their life. They don't want to check in the PC, yet they can't go to population. That's the type of people you're dealing with down here for the most part. For the most part. And I said, pick and choose who you talk to, but never, ever, ever talk about your damn case to nobody. I've seen so many people go into their cell with their cellie and HB. You know, that's the max. you know, people have respect in there. They know how to do time in the maximum security units, you know, for the most part, at least. And, you know, there's people wearing wires on their celly, stuff like that. And I didn't want that to happen to him. So that's what I warned him about when I first got there. I was like, look, don't talk about it with nobody. I don't care how cool you think they are. Don't do it. And because I did that and because I never asked for anything, he gravitated towards me, you know, and that's what it was. That's what it was, you know.
And you know what's crazy is in Dartmouth County. That's the first place I heard about that kid. He wore the wire in his radio. Remember, it was the summertime, and he put the radio in his winter jacket and was sitting in the cell with his winter jacket on, in the radio, you know, plugged in and in his ears. And dudes are like, "Yo, what's up with you, bro? You're wearing a winter jacket in the middle of the summer, and you're listening to your headphones while you're in the cell talking to us. What the fuck?" Like, the shit was mad fucking weird, bro. And then when the shit came out, and he had the wire in his radio, everybody's like, damn, that makes sense. And he got him a life bid, bro.
Right. I know that exactly the person it happened to, too. That's what's awful about it. But as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, my God.
Me too. New Bedford cat.
I was thinking, yep, exactly. Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking, man. It's terrible. It's terrible, you know. And
you think Aaron Hernandez is way more high profile. His cases are more high profile. Now, despite that kid having, like, you know, serious ties to organized crime, this dude still has a high profile case. Aaron's probably the most high profile case that county's ever seen. I mean, there's been a few of them, but, you know, like that girl that was there. What was that girl that was there? And she was a celebrity too.
She's from Taunton.
Blonde hair. She's got a shoulder length and shit like that. I seen her pictures of her walking out of the county.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. I can't think it off the top of my head right now. Yes, she was in there.
But there's only been very few, like, very high profile cases there. So they definitely have a wire set up for that, bro.
Right.
But so let's get into some more shit.
WWE. No, you're good. I'm sorry. Doink the Clown from WWE. He's always in there, you know, but it ain't as high profile as Aaron. You know what I'm saying?
Get the fuck out of here. Doink the Clown goes to Dartmouth.
Yeah. Yep.
Yo, I want to be in the hole with that dude. If I was in the hole, I would want to be in the hole with Doink the Clown. Bro, he'd keep me laughing all day. I'm saying,
there's nothing else to do down there. You got to act out. You got to crash out. I'll tell you one thing. My boy Killer, actually, when I left, my boy Hector Killer, he actually started talking with Aaron. I plugged him in with Aaron, and that was like the new me once I left. You know what I'm saying? Bro, they went to fight the move team. They put the pepper spray into this kid's cell, and Killer took the pepper spray from them and started spraying the COs with it. Bro, it was so much wreck. You know, like, that's how you live down there. That's how the days go by. Like, there's days where I'm starving. I don't want to eat whatever they gave me. I'm surviving off butter packets and Tums, bro. Like, it's terrible. It's terrible. So you got to kill time. You know, you
can get Tums down there.
Yeah, man. Butter packets and Tums. You got to sign up a med slip, and, you know, you got to wait a couple of weeks to see the nurse, but eventually they start coming. And if there's ever a day where there's something you don't eat, you got some butter packets and Tums, man. It's either that or mayonnaise on a shower shoe, however you prefer.
Yo, that's crazy. So let's talk about let's talk about Double A again real quick. So you was down in the hole with them forever. Like, you guys must have you must have seen him do some funny ass shit with these cops, man. Fucking with these cops.
Oh, it was great.
Yo, so let's talk about some stories where he had interactions with the cops and, like, argued with them and shit.
Oh, it was great. So, all right, there was one time, like I said, we had the radios, you know, like, they knew about that because Fat Joe came on the radio and he was saying, I got my killers with me like Aaron Hernandez. That's when they caught on to me having a radio. So they raided us and they took our radio. So Aaron tried to order a second one and he's flipping out on them. He's like, dude, I just broke my radio outside. Why can't I order another one? They said, nope, you ordered one within 30 days. You can't. You have to wait a certain amount of time to order another one, because they knew he was going to stop buying it for people in the hole because he felt bad and charging top dollar to sell a radio in the hole easily all day, you know? So that's what they were afraid of. And, you know, Aaron got pretty pissed off about them telling him no for that, because he's like, it's my money. Why can't I just buy another radio? I literally broke mine. He's like, look, it's broken. And I mean, it wasn't broken. He was just trying to help me out, you know? So, like, there was that situation where he started going at the CO. I believe it was CO Pacheco, believe it or not, the one that's mentioned in the book, even though that's not the CO he technically threatened and got the charge with, which is kind of weird to me.
I'm glad you brought this up, right?
Yeah.
Because, all right, now you had mentioned in our video that you had said something to them that was, you know, the case that he got off on. And that's the one and only thing that I know wasn't all the way true. And I'm sorry to have to point that out. And I get it. When you're in a podcast and you're up in there, you're not even thinking about every single thing. Like if you get asked a question real quick in the middle of a story, you might just say, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's really just how it was because you were just so gassed up. And I asked that question in the middle of you talking and you were just like, yeah, you know, and so but what was it that you ended up saying to the detective? And like, why would you talk to them in the first place? And what, just, yeah, speak on that.
Right. So Aaron basically wanted him to go there and get my side of things because he was going to subpoena me to grand jury to help testify on his behalf to say he did not threaten the officer. Because, like I said, I was there right next door from him doing the Operation Bumblebee where I put the bumblebee in my food and did that whole food scam with him and stuff. That's what led to the argument with him and the CO. And, the CO started pressing charges, trying to make it seem like he threatened to kill him and his whole family. Never happened. So I get released. Like I told you, my bail was like $1,300. I think my mom had $800. Aaron kicked in the rest. As long as I agreed to do the stuff he asked me to do for him and for myself and for my daughter. So that worked out. I bail out. I'm at my house for about, I think it was like 3 hours. I just got there with my boy Joey Furtado. We mentioned him earlier. Shout out Joey. Joey actually has an autograph book from him too also. But so we get there. We get to my mom's house. And like I said, she's not home yet. I still was doing the wrong thing. And I was smoking a little coke, And I get a knock on the door. And I'm like, what's going on? I see a gun and a badge. They said, Steven Shavs. I said, nope. I shut the door. And they're like, no, you're not in trouble. We want to talk to you about Aaron Hernandez. He asked us to come here. I'm like, what is this? So I open the door and I'm trying to get his side of things. Like I said, my buddy couldn't get the webcam going in time. So I had to record him with the voice recorder on my cell phone, which is actually the same cell phone that I snuck back into jail and they found, and they now have possession of it. So
they have, hold on, because your phone is locked, isn't it?
It's locked. Yeah, no, it's locked. I just don't remember my Gmail password from it because I talked to Liz from TMZ.com. That's why I reached back out to them today to see if whatever they had from that day. You know what I mean? So I'm waiting to hear back now. But they have the original phone that was logged into my Gmail with all of that stuff in it. So when I recorded this guy, he was asking me questions like, did Aaron talk to you? Because he knew me and him were close in there. Did he talk to you about his case? I said, no, he did not talk to me about his case. I did say, the one thing he did tell me was that gun you guys think happened, that you guys think you seen when he's walking out of his own basement in his own house on a surveillance camera. I said to them, that's not a gun. He admitted to me that was a universal remote of some kind.
He froze up. But that'll fix itself in a second if that's the case, because shit happens like that. But he's definitely going to be back. I appreciate everybody for showing up. This gives me a second to go over the comments real quick while he comes back into the live. Let's see this universal remote. Yeah, bro. So my boy Kev's going to look up the universal remote real quick. Me and Kev did an interview earlier, dude, a members only interview, and this shit is fire, dude. So, real quick too. Also, somebody sent me a Cash App and I'm going to tell you exactly what it says. It says Wapachino De Janeiro sent me a $20 Cash App for the homie Garrett, bro, because my boy Garrett had passed away, bro. He's probably one of the most solid cats that you'll ever meet up in the Max, and that's pretty much it, bro. So I appreciate you for sending me that $20. And this kid should be coming back any second now. I hope everybody doesn't leave. If you could, please. Yeah, bro. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. I just shout you out, and that's much appreciated, bro. At this point, man, I definitely need that. Keep this channel going, bro. Keep it growing. So, Kevin, let's me and you have a conversation while he's still coming back. I don't know what's up with Stevie. I'm gonna text Stevie real quick, and see what's up with him.
Steve dog, where you at?
Stevie, what the fuck are you doing, Stevie?
He's on the other line with TMZ.
Hey, so what is your take on this story?
I'm really trying to put the pieces together. It's my first time hearing any of this, really. So, it's a fascinating, interesting story. I believe the kid was there with him. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say that he's lying about his story, but I think if I'm just as a viewer, right? I'm at home watching and I hear this, all the details. I'm just wondering, really, like, what was your goal from the beginning? You know what I'm saying? Like, why did you want to get so close to this dude in jail? Because, like, I've been to jails where like Whitey Bulger's in the hole right now, but like I wasn't trying to get lugged, bro, to go see Whitey and you know what I mean? But
Whitey's a different type of person.
I'm to each his own. I'm not saying that there's something wrong with the kid. I'm just curious as to what was your main intention from the beginning, because people are gonna be like, yo, of course this dude's trying to get on Aaron's dick so he can get, drugs. These dudes got money and shit. These dude probably needs bail. I mean, you see that a lot in jail, right?
Let me fix this so we're the only people on the screen. We're gonna continue this conversation. All right, so
yeah, I'd just like to hear from Steve, like, and now Aaron's gone, you didn't really get to follow through with, what his instructions were and the letters and things like that. So he still said he's reaching out to TMZ. I'm just curious what he's trying to do with like moving forward.
We'll talk to him about that right now. He's back.
Answer some of the questions, Kev. Yeah, I went to the hole. I got caught with 12 knives in my ceiling during a rape war. So
okay, Stevie, what's going on, pal?
We're back.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, we can hear you, bro. You're back. Right. So what we were just talking about, kind of when you dipped off, is I asked my boy Kevin what his take on the story was so far, and he's got questions for you. So we're gonna talk to him real quick.
Go for it.
Yeah. So the first, I was wondering, like, as I'm hearing this for the first time. It's a dope story, you know what I mean? And it's definitely got some details in it that just make it feel a lot more authentic, right? So I believe you, you know what I'm saying? I definitely believe that all this stuff happened that you're saying. But what I was wondering is, like, what was your main intent before all this, before you had any relationship with him? For all you know, he could have told you, yo, kick rocks, kid, you're a weirdo. I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm trying to fight my case and go home.
That's exactly what I thought was going to happen, to be honest. So I was nervous. I wasn't with them originally at first. Me and my boy were in HB, which is the maximum security unit. There was a ton of drama going on with, gang wars and gangs trying to extort white kids and, the Fall River guys and stuff like that. We can't let that happen. So, we were doing our thing, and me and my boy had an Allen wrench key, which is, you're never going to find another one of those in there. Thing's worth $1 million because you can get inside the light in your cell and then go behind the light and get the big metal rods and make samurai swords if you needed to, and that's what we did. I got caught with 12 knives in my ceiling, man. I was trying hard to distract the COs by slipping out of my handcuffs and everything while it was happening, but it was too late. Somebody told on us. They knew exactly where they were, and we got caught with 12 of them. I know I'm in the hole now until I wrap up. I have 90 days in the hole with all the stuff that just happened that day. I have 90 days worth of D-board tickets that's going to keep me stuck there. I don't want to starve. I know there's nothing they can do after 90 days. I can bail out, so I'm going to act up to get extra food. And that's how it started. Me and my celly Reggie, we would act up every day until they gave us extra trays every day. And then they started doing it. So then eventually it was like, okay, well, we're bored over here. We've already been down here for like a month or two. We want to get over there with Aaron. What's up? So they sent us over there with Aaron. I made a deal with Major Lancaster at the time. I said, look, you want me to stop acting up? You guys want to go home on time every day? You guys don't want me popping sprinklers and flooding out and having every single person in the whole entire unit fight you guys every single day? Then that's what we'll do. And they basically bowed down to me and they were like, okay, we'll give you what you want. So they put me over there with them. I was trying to get a couple autographs from me and my daughter, stuff like that, before I went home. And it just kind of led into this, I didn't expect him to talk to me. Like I said, he didn't talk to anybody for the first 3 days when I was there. He just kept walking by me, and then one day he was in the shower rapping and I hear him. I said, buddy, that's you rapping? He said, yeah. I said, you're terrible. So we were like, what? We stopped rap battling, That's how I got cool with him. And that's how we started talking. And, one thing led to another. He's like, oh, what do you get from the med cart? And it was the Wellbutrin, and we started doing that and the gabapentin, and it just went off from there. Now we're eating honey buns and listening to music. And whenever he's not on the phone with his family, he's at my door, or we're outside working out in the dog cages, together, whatever, just killing time.
Real quick. Yeah. I know that a lot of relationships and things like that in prison can start over the bond of you having medication. I'm saying, it is a fact. If you have dubs, like Wellbutrin or
Yep.
Adderall, something people want, and Double A liked his pills, bro. Right? He will definitely start talking to you in
Right.
order to get your pills, bro. Even if
Right.
he doesn't like you, probably he
Right.
will
Right.
probably talk to you to get your pills. But you seem like a likable kid, so once he starts talking to you, he probably like, oh, this kid's a dork, and I like him. You know what I mean?
Surprised they didn't ship you out. You know,
They
trying
did
to
the second time. The second time. They did ship me
Yeah.
out the second time.
Hey,
Yep.
Stevie, you are a dork. You know that, right?
Oh, of course. You know it. You know it. It's all right.
Steve's cool, man. I like that.
Nah, I like you, Stevie, bro. That's why I have you up here. First of all, you're natural in front of the camera,
That's
right?
it. That's all you got to be, man.
And second of all, you got a story to tell. Fucking, you don't care about the haters, and that's great.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
that's what I want. You're exactly
Right.
the type of guest I want for my podcast, right? You
Right.
have a valuable story that people want to hear. You are all about telling it, right? And you tell it well.
That's
So,
right.
boom, you're a perfect guest, bro. So
Appreciate
anybody
that.
else with great stories like this, definitely hit me up.
I appreciate that.
Definitely
I
hit
couldn't
me
have
up. This
done
is
it.
the
I mean,
platform.
you led me in the right direction. I'm just following your lead. I've been watching your podcast since I came home, and honestly, it's taken off. And that's why I figured we could make this happen together and hopefully make it grow. And look at all the views we're getting. You know, it's working
You're a
out.
natural kid.
Working out pretty well.
So what is your goal? What is the goal now? Like, what are we doing with the letters, with all the, you know, the memorabilia? What are we doing?
I'm hoping as soon as I get my hands on that, I'm going to try to get down there this week to my buddy's storage locker. We'll dig through it, get everything out of there, get my mom's shoebox again and go through every letter like correctly again, you know, because there was tons of letters he wrote. There was tons of things I have from him. So it still could be stuff in my mother's house as well in that shoebox that I looked in yesterday. So I got to really take the time and go through everything. But I'm hoping once this happens and I got that story out there, like there's so many documentaries and stuff. And honestly, a lot of it's not the truth. The book, the James Patterson book, there's some truth to it, but a lot of it's not true. The Hulu documentary, the Hulu documentary is having sex with guys every episode. I never seen that side of him when I was with him. You know what I mean? He wasn't like that when he was with me, you know. And
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, because I asked you before, but for everybody else,
yep.
Did you have feelings or some type of like thing for relationship wise with Aaron?
Absolutely not, buddy. He never showed that side, and I am not like that. You know, shout out my.
Did you at least think he was handsome? Can you admit that? Did you think he was handsome?
You,
I don't say.
No, it was not like that.
I think that's appropriate for
that. You don't have to answer that. I just
no. It just never. I mean, I'm not into that, and I've never seen that side of him. Like I said, he was writing this guy from Texas, and I would call him out on it and say, "Yo, why are you responding to these letters?" And he was saying, "Oh, it was just for money." The guy was sending money every week. You know what I mean?
So that's broke at this point. Like he didn't.
Nah, he's just got that hustler mentality,
I know he got
bro.
some canceled deals and things like that from the case, but
he's just got the hustler mentality.
Did you speak to his wife at all through all of this? I mean,
nah.
Is she feel any type of way about you trying to sell these letters and shit? Like,
nah. No? I literally got the letter here telling my mom, like, Aaron's given me permission to do all this. He, like, once I get that letter from storage, you're gonna see it literally is his handwriting, and then he has me responding to him, but he told me what to write in one of the letters. You know what I mean? Like, this is for the media to look at, you know. So like there's different sides of it, but like he just wanted good media out there for him. That's it. And he knew I was getting out soon. He knew he could trust me, and that's it. And that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to show the world he wasn't a monster, because he wasn't. You know what I mean? I just get aggravated when people say he's a monster, because I was there. I was in his face with him every single day. Yes, I was behind a door. Yes, I was behind a fence. I was never in the same room with him physically, because they had to keep us separate at that time. He wasn't in population. He was in the hole for his safety, you know, and I was literally in the hole, so they wouldn't put us together. But that's what it came from. Like, there was no anything other than just trying to catch wreck and make some money out of it. You know what I mean? That's really what it came down to. He wanted good media before his trial. He wanted to make some money. He asked me to go and talk to his lawyers and sign contracts so I could get his ID bracelet and sell it for 25 grand, and he would keep half the money. You know what I mean? He's got money, but that's just his mentality. And that's why I believe, even if he did do what he did, it's because of the way he was brought up. You know, he's been kicked off every single team he's ever been on. He never meant to make it to the Patriots. That was all an accident. He said it just happened. You know, he was telling me tons of things. You know, he was telling me, like, I was asking him, like, about the celebrity life and all that. He's like, bro, the Illuminati's real. He's like, yo, the guy who plays Captain America, the actor, you know, he smokes a lot of crack apparently. There's a lot of things that we don't know. A lot of the actors and the NFL stars and the NBA stars, a lot of them wear fake jewelry and everything. He's telling me all the inside stuff. Shout out to Russell Wilson too, because I guess Aaron had your wife a little bit before you. He was telling me the story about that. He was telling me the story about that with him and Sierra, and that shit was crazy.
Well, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Man, he said he went down to his favorite strip club is Tootsie's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and he was down there. I guess Sierra was down there at the same time, and they ended up linking up. Yo, he told me he told me they ended up linking up after that, and they went to Chad Ochocinco's house, and him and his wife were hooking up with Rihanna while Aaron was hooking up with Sierra. That was the story he told me.
Damn.
Yeah, basically.
He said a download Diddy party, bro.
Right. But damn, yeah, I mean, I was asking him all that stuff, and I mean, that's what he basically got at with that. But the rest
Let me tell you this too, because I believe you even more, because me and Double A had talks when we was drunk and shit. We used to drink together in the Maxi.
Right.
He told me stories about him partying in hotels in Florida with all these NFL players who I will not name because they're all NFL players still. Sniffing coke off of strippers' titties and you know, hookers' titties, and just doing wild stuff, man. Partying like rock stars, bro. These guys are straight superstars, man. Partying like that. Word. He would tell me all kinds of crazy stories and shit. Yeah. So I believe you 100% on that.
Oh yeah. Yep. That was great.
And let me just say this too, Stevie. I believe you 100%. I do. I think this, right? And I'm going to tell you this, right? I know that, yes, you getting over there with them was a little crazy, right? You definitely a fanboy, right? But you know, the fact is that it doesn't matter if you were a junkie on the streets, right?
Right.
Doesn't matter if you went to jail and you went to the hole just to see him, even if that was the case, right? It doesn't matter. The fact is that you went through all this shit and you're being honest about it.
Right. Exactly. It took a little time, like I said, but
who cares what people think? People are mad because you got this opportunity and they did not.
Exactly. And I appreciate everything you did for me. You know what I mean? Like, you're letting me get the story out there. You're letting me get this off my chest, closing that chapter in my life. Like, whether this turns into a chance to make a documentary on that side of him, because like I said, there's so many documentaries, but nothing touches really on what he was like in Bristol County. And the kid, we have crazy stories. Like, dude, we would fight the move team every other day. We're popping sprinklers every other day. Yeah, Aaron wasn't going as hard as us, but he was involved. Like, I would fight the move team because they fired me for passing him food or whatever, you know, like they would just mess with us because of him, you know, and like the whole unit would ride out for me. So it's like, it wasn't just me and him. It was the whole entire unit we were in fighting the COs almost every day just for rec. You know what I mean?
And what was Aaron doing? Sorry for cutting you off. My bad. What was Aaron doing or saying while you guys were all fighting the Moo team?
Well, he understood. I mean, he's like, dude, they fired you for passing me food. He was hungry. He didn't want the mac and cheese that day. So I traded his mac and cheese tray with the guy that had a Muslim meal. That's all I did is swap it. I'm the unit runner. I have shackles on. I clean up the unit and I get an extra tray every day. So I'd split that with him. Plus, like I said, all I did is switch the trays with him and they fired me. So he's like, bro, they really fired you for that? And he was more mad because now my extra trays every day that I split with him, we ain't got that no more. And that's where the Operation Bumblebee came from and all that stuff. You know, he was hungry. You know, he's just hungry. But,
I just want to know how the hell Operation Bumblebee got blown so fucking out of proportion. This is like a story about where he put a bumblebee in his food to get an extra tray.
I saw a clip about it yesterday.
He just kept on doing the same thing, and the cop noticed it and shit and said something, but it ended up in TMZ, like on some legit shit. Yeah, I looked it up on TMZ. It's a legit TMZ story. Like he's in this TMZ story.
Oh, that's crazy.
Right.
So it's not like this.
It's not like this is the first place you've covered this story, right? This is
exactly.
This is the first place. The W number is the first place he's told the whole story.
Right.
Exactly. Yes. I tried to reach out to TMZ with all that stuff when I first came home. Like I said, they wanted me to do an interview and talk trash about him and give me $5,000 before his trial. I said, absolutely not. I'm not doing that, but I will sell you the recording of the detective questioning me for 2.5 hours. So everybody knows I ain't said shit. And what I did say helped him. You know what I mean? That's why I gave that to them. And they offered me $1,000 for that. So I took that, you know, but
You took
other than
$1,000
that,
for the recording. Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
do you have a receipt for that? Or
I
any?
literally asked them for it today. I literally emailed them. I want everything. I want the receipt from that. I want the pictures I originally sent you. I want everything. So I just reached
Okay,
out to them today. You know what I mean? So we should be
Good.
hearing back. I texted them, emailed them, and left a voicemail today on the TMZ website. So it should not take long to hear back from them from that.
Let me ask you this. Why would you ever sit down with the detectives in the first place? When they came to your door, you should have been like, yo, scram boogie, bro. I got
Right.
nothing to talk to you about.
Right.
But
Dude,
what
I was
happened? Why'd you do that?
starstruck and I just blew out and hit a crack. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell? He's here. He's not here for me. He's like, I'm here to talk to you about Aaron. He wants me to talk to you to get your side of things. So I don't know like what he was trying to do, if he was trying to play like he was trying to help Aaron or hurt Aaron, but that was the guy who arrested him originally. So in my head, he's trying to hurt him. So I'm not telling
he's
him
definitely
shit.
trying.
I ain't telling him shit, even though this guy's trying to play like Aaron wanted me to come here to talk to you. No,
So
Aaron wanted
picked
a
up on
private detective to come here to talk to me. You guys just got here first. That's
they
basically
heard the
what
phone call.
Right. So, you know
They
what I mean?
listened to
Like,
his phone calls. You know what I mean? They got every
right,
single one of them now.
right,
But it's
right.
like, and there's 900 of them, by the
There's a
way.
lot.
900
There's a
phone
lot.
calls they got access to.
I
I
know.
mean, that's a
There
whole
is a
lot of
lot.
fucking content right there. Those
There's
people
a
putting
lot.
out those Aaron Hernandez phone calls. But, and I mean, imagine if you were the first person to put that out. Whew.
Bro,
I
check
mean,
this
that's a
out.
story now.
There's a Netflix documentary. It's either on Netflix or Hulu because there's so many of them. But there's one episode where he's talking to his wife on the phone and she goes, Aaron, is there females in that jail? So he didn't know because he just got there. He turns to my cell, which is literally right behind him. He says, Slappy, come here. I got to the door. He's asking me. And I said, yeah, bro, they're right outside right now. They come out from this time to this time, going off. You know, you can hear my voice clear as day. You know it's me. So you
You're
get
like,
on that
oh,
episode,
Aaron, yes,
you're
there's
going to know.
fucking you dying to be
You know?
helpful to him, bro. Hey, yo,
Man.
Slappy, I love you, kid, bro. You're fucking
You too, man.
hilarious.
You too.
He's like, yes, Aaron, there's women here. He's so happy to tell
Bro,
me
you
that
should have
shit.
seen the day I cut his hair, though. So he's a big dude. He sits down Indian style in front of my door, and I got the little food slot. I cannot cut hair, bro. Shout out Johnny Tavares, God rest his soul. That was the barber we had from Dover Street that was cutting his hair while he was going to trial. But, you know,
Yeah.
Johnny passed and everything. But that was his barber. So Johnny bailed out at the time. He had no barber. So he's like, bro, can you just clean me up real quick? Just shave it down. I'm like, yeah, of course I can do that for you. Yeah. I don't know how to cut hair, but I can shave it down. So he sits down Indian style. I'm trying to squeeze my hand through while I'm looking through the mirror, the little window, trying to see his head, trying to shave it. Dude, it's got patches everywhere. The freaking clippers died. The batteries died. Now the Scared Straight program came in, the kids and the teachers and everything. So now he's pissed. He wants to get in his cell and hide. Bro, this guy looks like a monster. He's got patches everywhere, you know, looking crazy. So it was actually the CO Bowen in the bubble, and he would not open Aaron's door to let him go back in his cell. He wanted everybody to laugh at him because, you know, they started having that beef. So that even made it even worse on top of it after that. But yeah, him and that CO were going at it for a while. It wasn't just one incident, you know. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, man. It sounds like you got a story to tell, kid. You got to, you know what I mean? And this is all coming from a county jail. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I got stories from maximum security with AA that never got this
Right.
much attention. I spent
Right.
6 months with this dude in P2 in one of the most savage fucking like, you know, prison landscapes there is in Massachusetts. And it's like never got this much attention. But I never really pushed it like that either. And I didn't have those exclusive details either because there's other people that spent a lot of time with them in the max alongside with me. You know what I mean? That probably were closer to him, like Boo Boo. Definitely, Boo Boo was like his number one. Like that was his ace. You know what I mean? That was his right hand man.
That's right, bro. I was the one who told him about Boo Boo before he went up there. You know what I mean? Like all the Dover boys told him about Boo Boo because obviously Boo Boo's from Dover Street. You know what I mean? So we told him when you get up there, that's who you go see. He'll take care of you. He'll show you the ropes, everything. You'll be fine. You know what I mean? So he went up there expecting to see Boo Boo, and that's what happened. They linked up and they did what they did. You know what I mean?
And that's funny because I knew it was something like that because when I was up there, Boo Boo had told me, you know, his people had already sent word and shit saying he's coming up and to look for him. And that's why they started talking when he hit M1 which is the orientation unit in the Max. You know, he did his whole, you know, orientation with Boo Boo. Boo Boo was the runner down there at the time. They finally gave Boo Boo a runner's job. So him and, you know, PD was down there, and you know, a few other people. I'm not gonna say their names, you know what I mean? But just people were down there with him, and getting real, you know, as soon as he came through the door. So he was basically riding with my boyos. Like he fucked with us tough. You know what I mean? That's who he was hanging out with when he first got up there. And Boo Boo was my cellmate. So when we were all in P1, Boo Boo was my cellie. Aaron was right across the way. And Double A would spend the entire rec at my door. You know what I mean? Talking to Boo Boo. But he would talk to both of us. We'd just be chilling and shit. And because I was friends with Boo Boo, and you know, Boo Boo was my boy. We were cellies, like, you know, he was friends with me through just off of that. And we used to drink all the time and get high and shit. Like, and yeah, that's not the stories people want to hear, is we were drinking and getting high. But like, yeah, that's what we did.
Right.
You know, that's what we did in the Max.
I got a question for you. Was you in the unit with the kid Kyle Kennedy Pure? Was you in the unit with him?
Yeah. So I was in the hole with Kyle Kennedy, and the story I got about him is definitely a gay one, right? He was my neighbor. Matter of fact, me and my boy Garrett, right? Check this out. Hold on, I'm gonna tell the story, bro. Now you asked me, right? So he was my neighbor. Me and Garrett were cellies in the hole. Garrett had just got into a beef. I had to jump in to help him with the kid Hands from Brockton that was killing the homeless people and shit. And we smashed him out. We ended up in the hole. And Pure was cellies with some other kid next door to us.
Justin Souza.
So one night, yep, that's in Souza Baranowski. This was an L3. This was an L3 cell 31. I was in cell 31. They were in cell fucking 30, right?
Yeah.
And late at night, 3 o'clock in the morning, Garrett wakes me up, nudges my arm. He says, "Yo, Maddie, wake up. Maddie, wake up." I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck? What's up, bro?" And he's like, "Bro, listen." And I'm like, up, and I can hear grunting, like sound like someone's working out. I'm like, "Yo, they're working out," right? And he's like, "That's not working out, man." He was pissed. He was like, tight. He was legitimately mad. He's got like, yo, anything gay, he gets like pissed. I don't know what the fuck. It was hilarious, right? So fucking, he's like, "No, they're not fucking working out, bro," right? He's like, "Listen, bro," and sure enough, it's like, smack, like little smacks. Like they were definitely having intercourse, bro, over there, dude, right? So yeah, man, you know, I called them out on this shit the next day, and you know, it turns out the cops ended up catching them doing that in the cell and split them up.
And you're not talking about Double A, you're talking about the celly in the hole, Kyle Celly in the hole you're talking about, right?
I'm talking about Pure and Kyle Celly in the hole. So Pure is Kyle Kennedy, and then yeah, so Pure and his cellmate. Yep.
Question: did the cellmate have a piercing right here? Do you know?
Nah, he was a little white kid. I don't know who. I actually forget that kid's name, but it's funny. I ended up in the hole with him on the south side after this all happened, and they split them up and caught them. I said, I yelled down to him, and I'm like, "Yo, hey, what's up, bro? I heard they caught you down there getting busy with your boy." And he was like, "No, man, that ain't true, bro. That ain't true." But it kind of fucking added some flavor to the story, man, and it sucked because it definitely made me feel suspect about the situation. But this is the thing, right? We're gonna sit here and trust Pure, his word, that Aaron was gay. No, you're gay, and you're gonna try to sell him out as it now because you know you're a Mo and got caught in the hole doing that shit, right?
I agree.
And nothing against anybody gay. I don't care what you do. You know what I mean? That's your own business, right? And if Aaron decided that he wanted to do that up there, it's his own fucking business.
That's right.
We're not talking. That's not. You know what I mean? Like,
bro, whether he is or isn't, he's still that dude. He's still a good guy at the end of the day. I mean, it changes nothing in my eyes. You know, I just didn't see that side of him, which is what, you know, really pissed me off when people started saying that. And I started thinking, oh, the COs don't like him. When he did do what he did, they read all his mail and they probably seen that guy from Texas and all the letters. And then they put that out there. Oh, this guy's gay. This guy's gay. And then you know how word spreads like wildfire in there. That's it. You know,
it's cool for everybody else to be gay, but they say Double A's gay and he's a piece of shit for that. You know what I mean? But like, yo, everybody else is like saying it and everybody's like, oh, they're cool for that. But like, yo, what? So what? Because he was a gangster, he's not. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But he was a gangster, bro. I don't give a fuck what anybody said.
Was he on gang time?
He was up there. He was on gang,
like white time. What?
Nah, he was a blood. He was a blood and he rolled, but he was in a set that was like there was only very few of them in the Max. You know what I mean? Yeah, so he ended up on the south side of the prison where there was that kid Pure was blood too. And that's why they talked. It wasn't because Pure was a gay. It was because they were in the same set. And that's just, you go up there, you don't pick and choose your bros. Like that dude was up there. There was nothing on Pure at the time like that. You know what I mean? Like there was nobody saying nothing like that. So, it is whatever, right? Guys weren't terminating him or taking him out or nothing like that. Didn't have anything to say like that until after all this went down. And then, they ended up catching that kid doing that shit in the hole. But like, and it kind of made it sound like, well, maybe it was, but it's not, dude. Like, you can't take that kid's fucking word for it, bro.
No,
and
not even close.
that's like saying this dude's a rat with no paperwork.
Right.
Well,
right.
That switches everything that we think we know, right? Because the last I heard was like, he was up there on some flipping and flopping, just doing him, getting high, and maybe smashing dudes. But like at the end, I don't even know where the fuck I was going with that shit. Honestly, cut me off.
My fault.
No, it basically just the last we heard was like all that shit happened and then he killed himself, right? So
Right.
Are you saying that didn't happen? Like none of that happened like that, or
I'm saying I don't know personally. I wasn't upstate, but like I said, my cousin was Pure Celly at the time, and he swears it happened. That's what, according to Pure, like everybody else is saying too. Like, who is this Kyle Kennedy guy? How do you have the credibility to say this is what happened? Yeah, there was a shit sheet up. Yes, people put sheets up in the max to get high. That's all that probably happened. That's what I'm assuming. Aaron got high. Aaron got money. Aaron used people. If the kid was gay and Aaron knew he had drugs, Aaron's the type of dude to go up to Pure and say whatever he wants to hear to get him to give him free drugs. You know what I'm saying? So like at the end of the day, I can't truly accept the fact that he was gay, but who knows? And who cares? I really don't care either way.
Yeah,
You know
I really
mean?
more or less the last part is like
Right.
you don't think he was like conspiracy fucking taken out or anything, right?
Well, here we go. So with that being said, you got the Patriots player Chandler Jones coming out on YouTube saying that Chico would never kill himself. That is his boy, and he knows him, and he would never do that. He also says he thinks the Patriots had something to do with it. That's one theory, and that's an NFL Patriots player saying
this
on YouTube.
Not for nothing, they were covering up some shit for him, right? Like, he's relocating them when he was supposedly in some trouble up there. So, I mean,
I like to believe it's that. And then, like I said, I looked at the suicide letters recently too. They weren't signed by him at the end. They weren't signed. Nothing. It was written. It almost looks like his handwriting compared to the letters I had from him. I can kind of see it with my own eyes, and the envelope I have right here from what he wrote, it's almost his handwriting, but I don't know. He didn't sign the bottom of it, so I really don't know where that came from. If it's true, the COs could have had something to do with it. It could have been somebody found out he was gay and he didn't know how to live with it. It could have been that. But I'm telling you right now, his whole fear, it could have also been for his daughter. Like that's what the suicide note says, and that's what would make sense. His daughter gets the money now. It says, baby, you have no. It says his daughter's name. It says, baby, you have nothing to worry about. You have money now. That's what it says.
That's what I think it is.
Believe you. So it could be.
I think it's this. I think it's this. K2 is a hallucinogenic, highly hallucinogenic. It made me at times feel suicidal, right? When I come off it, when I was coming off it, you know what I mean? Not when I was doing it, but when I was stopped doing it, it made me so depressed. When I stopped, I was doing it for a year, 2 years, maybe even more. Like, and every day, I was selling it, so I had tons of it, whatever, bro. I could smoke it, and when I stopped, it was like lights out, kid. I turned gray. I was depressed, but I still kept to it because I realized, like, well, anything that could do that to you is some fucked up shit, bro. Right? So he was blazing that shit down like it was nobody's business, bro. I watched it turn the most savage warrior into the biggest Bible thumping person I could ever imagine. And I don't think there's anything wrong with Bible thumping. I think Jesus Christ is the way, the only way, the truth, and the light. And he was resurrected in order to save us from our sins. But at the same time, it changed him. It made him different. Aaron was smoking so much of this, it put that to shame. And this dude was smoking 20 stamp hits, right? So he could have been so fucked up on Deuce that night, right? And had a quick snap decision. This is it. Because he's tripping out in his head.
I know.
That is a legit possibility. I've been there. I've seen shit happen on that shit that you never would have imagined, bro. Making animal noises, grabbing their dick, saying my pussy hurts, fucking grabbing the railing, thinking that they killed their mother, smashing their TVs, like just straight a visual, audio, mental, delusional. You know what I mean?
Everything.
So it can take you there. For sure.
Matt,
And Aaron was going hard.
tell me you guys had that Cardi B, the red stuff up there. You know
I
what I'm
had it
talking
all.
about? The
Oh
red
yeah,
stuff.
the red line, red
that
dot.
was the stuff. Bro, I'm telling you, that right there made me hallucinate and suicidal like you would never believe. And like I told you, I was locked up in Massac at the time. I escaped from Massac, but it was when I was in Bridgewater, Massac, right before they moved everybody from Bridgewater to Plymouth Forestry. That's where I was when Aaron killed himself on April 19th. So I get a letter from my mom. She's like, Aaron just wrote you. I said, I'm bored in here. Can I just get his information? I'll write him back right now. Can you give me his address right now? She said, I'm busy. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm at work. That same freaking night he killed himself, bro. I got the letters right here saying, Mom, why are you not sending me? I told you, don't send me the original letter. Make a photocopy, send it to me so I can read it and decipher it and see why he did this and why am I getting a letter a day before he actually killed himself. I wanted to know what it said, if there was anything cryptic in it, anything. So I'm trying to get my mom to send me a photocopy, and she didn't. She sent me the original, which is why it's not at home where it should be. So I got that letter right here. Unfortunately, I do apologize to my mom. I love you, Mom, but like I was freaking out on her. You know, and I'm like, why did you send me the original and not the photocopy like I asked? But it is what it is, you know. And I did get the letter. I did try to decipher it, and it was nothing suicidal, bro. It was a regular freaking letter, man. It was a regular letter. Like he even made a joke. He's like, go stop at McDonald's. You know what I like, dude. His favorite food from McDonald's: 2 double cheeseburgers, no onion, no pickle, large fry, large Sprite. Gets it every time. You know what I mean? Like that's what that was like. I knew everything because he had me go. He wanted me to go on Dr. Phil for him. I had his whole life story written down, bro. That's what they took from me. And I wish I could get that back from them. But they took that from me when I was changing into my street clothes when I bailed out. So that's lost, unfortunately. But
yeah. Shout out to Mom Dukes riding that bit out with Slappy.
Yo, word, kid. Every mother for riding their
all
bits
moms.
out.
Yeah,
for real. It's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough. You know, we
Salute
don't realize
to my
what we
mom.
do to our family. That's right.
Fact, bro. She stuck with me through everything, and I was the worst hellion you could ever imagine, dude. Word, bro. I was the worst.
Yeah, man.
I would have never wished me on some other mother. Never.
Right.
Or me.
Right.
I wouldn't wish me on me. I fucking drove my mother nuts, dude. And me and my brother were both twins, and we were both co-defendants doing 12 years upstate on my second bid. The first bid, I was at least by myself. She had one son. But the second bid, she had no sons. Right. And I'm doing 12 years, bro, with him. You know what I mean? Like, she was devastated, bro. That's her twin baby boys that she was told she would never have. You know what I mean? We were a miracle to her. Right. But really, we might have been a nightmare. But I'm hoping now that my mother will live long enough to see me successful and happy, bro. That's what I'm hoping for, bro.
I'm praying for you, man. You can do it. You can do it.
You know what I mean? And that sucks. But I'm working hard, bro. Every fucking day, I'm grinding. All the time, I'm grinding, and I'm putting in that quality content, bro. I know it's quality. I know it's quality. I know it's not. This is gonna be this is my lane, bro. This is my lane. So
I love it.
You guys gonna see plenty more from this podcast.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Maddie, you know, I don't know if you can identify, but my mother, she used to tell me the only time she could sleep at night was when I was in jail. She knew I was safe. You know what I mean?
Shit.
And it's sad. It's sad, bro. It's really sad. It's sad. It hurts. And, you know, I really apologize for that. But, you know, like I said, I got 4 years sober now, and it's time to flip the script, you know, and move forward. That's it.
4 years, kid. One more year, you got a half a decade.
There you go. Respect, man.
You know it.
That's fucking fire. Yep. That's fire. Yup. It's the best thing about this whole podcast, kid.
Absolutely.
You're doing you, bro. You used to strung out little crackhead before, bro.
You know
it. You know, now you're a good man, bro. Look at you,
That's
bro.
Right.
You look healthy. You can speak clearly. You know what I mean? You're on a
different
way.
I work in a detox now, saving lives, like helping people in my position that I was in. I can relate to everybody, bro. Like as soon as I took that job, I knew that was going to be my calling. Like that's what I got people right now from almost 6 months ago calling me from California, thanking me, telling me they're still sober because of me and the stuff I shared with them, you know? And it feels really good. It feels really good to be on that side of things this time around, you know?
But, all right, man. Well, yo, this is getting close to, you know, being towards the end of this podcast. If everybody here please hits that like button. Please, I know you enjoy my podcast. You are still here. So hit that like button, please. Do not hate. Don't be a hater. And share, comment, subscribe. And if you want, you could become a member to this channel and you will get access to the exclusive fucking me and him did a members only video earlier. I made a members only interview. It's right in my kitchen in the projects. Bro, this shit is so raw, so real, bro. If you become a member, you'll definitely get access to that. But this shit is fire. I want to put it out on regular public, but I gotta give my members only.
How much do I gotta pay to see that shit?
You gotta pay $2.99 like everybody else, bro.
Kind of fucked up. Like,
Yo,
you can do it, man.
Right.
Shit.
I'll let you watch it on my phone. How about that?
There you go. There you go. That's like in jail when you rent a movie and you can only watch it 1.5 times. You got to share it with somebody.
Yeah. Word, kid. Yo, so I appreciate you coming on, kid.
Absolutely.
You really did a bang up job, my friend. And
thank you.
You're going places, bro. And if you ever do social media content, you probably do good at it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And as soon as I get a hold of TMZ and get all that other stuff out of storage, I absolutely am going to send that to you. Just give me a couple days. You'll have everything.
We'll come back and do another one then. Fuck
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, man. Appreciate everybody for showing up tonight. If you have,
thanks for showing up.
Yep. If you have any love and support for the podcast, the PayPal and the Cash App is right at the bottom, or you could do a super chat. Whatever, anything, become a member, whatever it is that you do to support the channel, hit the like button and subscribe. Even if it's just that, you are supporting my channel. Every single thing you do supports my channel. Leave a comment, share, whatever it is. You know I appreciate it. I would answer every single comment, but now I just
you went Hollywood. We just say
this is what it is, right? So I have realized now that I'm successful because I have trolls. So people are trolling the fuck out of me right now with this video. So it's like, yo, why am I gonna answer you? I don't even respect your comment. Why am I gonna respect you enough to fucking answer you? Fuck out of here.
That's right. No, Maddie, just keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing great, bro.
Maddie's doing the thing.
Yeah, go hate on somebody else. Like,
don't be a fucking hater. Right? Just watch the content. Throw a fucking free like, a free sub.
Right?
It costs you nothing, man. Or just keep it moving.
Right.
Bro, I spent my whole life in the block behind us in this video, right? I spent my whole fucking life in prison in a DYS facility from the time I was 13 until the time I was 37. Bro, I am out here now showing you how it's done, bro.
That's
Fuck
right.
all that shit.
That's right.
Fuck all that shit, bro.
Absolutely.
I sat in the cell in DDU and thought I'd never be nothing.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
Fuck all that shit, bro. Fuck all that shit, bro.
Proven wrong,
I appreciate everybody for showing up, man. I'm gonna end this live
guys.
stream. And you guys already know, man, everybody, all my ride or dies, all my day ones for this channel, man, salute. You guys have been fucking great, bro. Everybody supporting this channel, man. You guys are the best.
See you, chat.
You guys know who you are, too. You know who you are.
I love you, baby.
All right, man.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I'm out of here. W number out.
Out.